Okay, we've got, so Arif is here, Aman is here, and somebody else, F-R-E, I don't know who he is. Yashpal is there, and Neha Parekh is there. Welcome to Dipika's session on forest therapy and forest bathing. This is going to be a magical 1 hour of session for you. I've experienced what she teaches, and I'm thoroughly mesmerized. I'm so happy that I'm conducting this. So Dipika's on a journey to help people, overcome their stress, barriers, and this is her own journey as well. And she is the expert in this. She, if I must tell you that there was a story that that happened during this lockdown, and the story was, I think I should wait for another 3 more minutes for people to join in to tell you the story of what happened during this lockdown. And then I'm going to hand it over to Dipika for her session. So welcome, friends. If anybody has any questions, we would be able to take them right in the end. And then Dipika also has a download sheet for you, which is going to help you with processes right in the end. And then Dipika will tell you more about. So, yeah, Dipika, do you want to address people and, increase their energy to listen to you in the meantime?
Yes, I'm completely excited, and thank you everybody who's taken the time to join us this evening. It's going to be a very engaging and a session with a lot of things which might appear simple, but have so much deep meaning to it. I just want to check, am I audible?
Yeah, it's not very consistent, but you are audible. We can hear you. I can hear you quite well. I don't know what others. The others can say in the chat if they think that you're audible or not audible.
Yes, I can hear myself like there's an echo, so I just want to be audible.
Yeah, you are. Go ahead. Yeah. No problem.
So it's amazing how very simple practices and very simple things which we might have already done or perhaps even overlooked can actually be very healing and therapeutic. It is all about bringing our mind to it and our focus to it, and then we can just see how magical that is. So I believe forest therapy to me has been that simple bit of activities in nature, which has actually got a lot of healing and solace in me. And this is such a lovely platform, and I want to thank you, Mohit sir, for giving me this opportunity to put it forward to a larger audience. And I'm sure that if you stay till the end of it, you will understand that each thing mentioned here about forest therapy might appear very simple, but is immensely powerful. And it's something I would suggest that you understand it and then introduce it to your friends and family members.
Good. Thank you. So, Dipika, I'm just updating the number of participants, and we're good to start now. It's 6 o'clock, so time is the essence, and we've never been late in our lives. We want to stick to that. I must tell you a story of mine during this lockdown. Dipika was talking about tree hugging one of the days, and she was talking about how when you hug a tree, it changes a lot, many things for you. And I didn't believe that. I said, well, fine, you can hug a tree. And then a lot of people talked about chakras getting activated and many other things, but I'd never really done it, So I started to take walks in the park right behind my house, and during the lockdown, and that was the only place I could get to. And there was a laburnum tree amaltas tree that was flowering at that point of time. And you had long flowers, hanging from the tree. And it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And there was this youngish tree, not very old, and that had maximum amount of flowers. So I started talking to the tree. And slowly, steadily, I just felt like hugging it. And when I started to hug it, and I get like in the sense that, hey, come on, I'm hugging you, not for any other reason, not because Dipika's told me, because I just feel like hugging you. And I started to hug that tree. And the moment I would hug that tree, within few seconds, I would be emptied out. I would just go absolutely blank. So whether there were fears in me or anything aspiring to do or anything, positive, negative, would be just taken away. And I would be a part of that tree. And then after I'd leave, like I never wanted to really leave, but then you'd see that people are watching or stopping to find out what's wrong with this man. And then they would, come and tap on the shoulder, and then I would sort of stay away from the tree or go back home like a zombie, as if, there's nothing in me. And that's like new lease of life. There's everything that was brewing in me has been taken out by this tree. And it's how you put that, it's earthing power sort of creeps in, and then, you are you. And every day, it's like going to a temple to energize yourself. So hugging a tree was that much, of that meaning to me. So I started to call that tree Amu, because in Hindi you call this tree Amaltas. So I named him Amu. Then one day when I was walking past and I would take my walks, I realized that somebody had hacked it, not like hacked it, had taken a chip off its bark. And I cried. And I said, somebody's hurt Amu. It was like it becomes a living entity for you. So, I'm just getting a little emotional about it, or, but it's just that you start to relate to anything which you think is not living, but actually it is. So that was my experience after you introduced me to tree hugging. Thank you, Dipika. Over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. So everybody, so let's dive in right now. I want to start with asking you a question. Wouldn't you agree the state of our minds reflect our day-to-day lives? We all need to see more of the environment. And even in the lockdown, since we have been, the past year, we've experienced it. Studies have shown that more time in the great outdoors can improve your well-being. And of course, if you are a nature lover, you know about it. You already have felt it in some way. The mere presence of plants, even if it's on your office desk or at home, just sitting around your garden, it leads us to record less stress, and you feel more at ease. So hi, everybody. My name is Deepika Sinha, and I'm currently based in Noida. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a mother to a 10-year-old nature lover. He's been my inspiration to this enchanting world of forest therapy. And I'm so glad that it's happened, and I'm here today to share more about it with you. So I'm going to take you through a series of presentations that I have so that you can, help you understand it better. So today we're going to speak about awakening your senses and how forest therapy can be a guide to it. And it's all about, how nature can nurture us. And I want to take you, it's going to be very basic, so you can start doing it on your own. And it's all about, I will also be giving out a free beginner's guide ebook at the end of the webinar. So that will be great for you to start. I have divided it into day-wise, segregated into day-wise. So Sunday to Monday, you can follow it. And I'm sure it's going to bring a whole lot of meaning into your lives. And that's just the beginning, and you can take it and make it your own. So forest bathing it is actually a Japanese concept. One moment. So what it is, you might have heard of forest therapy, forest bathing. This is a Japanese concept. It's Shinrin Yoku is one term that is used, and it literally translates to forest bathing. It means taking in the forest atmosphere. It's a leisurely walk, and you immerse yourself. Scientifically proven, it creates calming neuropsychological effects through our nervous system. And it's anyone who's looking to ground themselves, from that cluttered thoughts. If you're unable to function at your best potential, you've come to a point, maybe there's too much happening. And if you just step out in nature and try forest bathing, you're going to get great benefits of this program. And so the history, of course, it started in Japan in the 1980s. So there were a series of stressful workers, and the Ministry of Forest and Agriculture started this as a leisure so that people could take a break and step out into the forest. But then research happened, scientific research happened, and they realized that the time spent in the forest is very therapeutic, and people showed results of having less stress, anxiety, and the performances were so much better. So 1980s, the Westerners then took it, so it went to the West. And I believe, even though it might have begun in the 1980s, in our Indian cultural system, whether it was, if you see the Gurukul system, we have always been, grounded and attached to nature. It's just so that lately we have kind of, with the modern constructions and everything happening around us, the cities, we are kind of disconnected in some way, but it's within all of us. And so Shinrin means forest, as I said, and Yoku stands for bathing. And if you've ever been in a forest, I'm sure you have, just listening to the birds or watching a sunshine filtering through the leaf, I'm sure you have already participated in forest bathing. Isn't it one of the best things you can do for your physical and mental well-being? So let's take you forward to what it's about. So it's about our five senses. In forest therapy, we engage and awaken our five senses. It's not a hike or running or a trek, because it's all about slowing down and being present. So a typical forest walk will be, you gather together in a natural environment. It could be a park if you're in the city. It could be a forest, or it could just be a small balcony with your pots and plants around you. It's about engaging all your five senses, listening to the sounds around you. Begin with just listening to all the sounds around you, whether it's birds rustling, leaves, or trickling streams. And then, of course, breathe in the clean air and notice the aroma of your surroundings. Soak in the sights, the different textures, and just notice the different shapes of leaves, of flowers. So many times when you are on a morning walk or on a hike in the forest, you're busy, your mind is still busy. You're not focusing, you're not present. It's important that you engage these five senses and become present. Be in the now, begin touching these soft leaves, take off your shoes and walk on the moss. Dip your feet into the water. Just let the stillness around you influence your soul, your state of mind, and make you forget the constant motion of the city. I hope that makes sense to you. So I would like to ask you, I'm sharing a poll here. So if you could just let me know what are your views. I hope you can see it. It says, do you feel nature can play a positive role on your well-being? Okay. Now, this term biophilia hypothesis. So while the Japanese were talking about Shinrin-yoku, it was even earlier, biophilia hypothesis suggests, it's American scientist E.O. Wilson came up with this. He suggests that humans possess an innate tendency to seek connections with nature and other forms of life. Biophilic experiences can reduce stress, improve cognitive function, and enhance the mood and creativity. Sure. Okay, so before this had happened, the term biophilia was actually popularized by a psychoanalyst. His name was Eric Fromm, if I'm not wrong, in the 1960s. And it was this scientist, E.O. Wilson, who took it and extended the word's meaning, seeing it as a perfect word for rich natural pleasure that comes from being surrounded by living organisms or by nature, and he said that we are natural beings, nature, and it's in our DNA to be attracted towards or drawn towards nature. If I were to show you a picture of a constructed building, a city, a frame of a city, and if I were to show you a frame of a scenic, natural painting, you will be drawn towards that natural painting. It is in our DNA, and that is why we are drawn to nature. Unfortunately, somewhere down the line, when we disconnect from nature, perhaps because of our careers, our work, and for everything that is happening, there is a lot missing from our natural. For us being a natural being, we miss out on a lot of it if you are not connected to nature. You might be going on your morning walks, perhaps, or you might be going out to a picnic in nature. But then that connection of how it was earlier when we were totally connected to nature and we were walking barefoot, we were swimming in the oceans and the seas and the river. So that is not happening now with urbanization, if I may say. So that is one thing you must realize, that all these scientists, the biophilia or Shinrin-yoku, it's all about reconnecting you back to nature. It is so essential. And there are a lot of positive effects that can happen when you connect back to nature. And we'll discuss this further as we go ahead here. So what is proven for forest therapy? It is very essential for people who have had anxiety, depression, people with insomnia. It's helped them. And this is all researched and scientifically proven. A lot of tests have been taken. And because we are on a webinar and we have limited time, I've just pulled out the briefest of notes to share with you so you could understand it. And it's all studied, and it shows your stress hormones, cortisol, comes down. You have a deeper and clearer intuition. You will experience this. I have for myself, that your intuition, it becomes so much clearer, and your instincts, it becomes things, you start to understand things so much better because you're so deeply connected, so it becomes more stronger. Your intuition becomes stronger. Of course, energy flow, and hence overall happiness. It increases the creativity and boosts your immune system, which is, I think, the need of the hour. So that's what the Shinrin-yoku can, these are the results you can gain from forest therapy. Today, I'm going to talk about 4 main elements of it, which is grounding, mindfulness, phytoncides, and about digital detox, which I believe are the most basic and very easy to follow aspects of, and it's what our body needs. So mindfulness, so many people have different concepts of mindfulness, and everyone talks about meditation. They talk about various practices for mindfulness, and it's all on the internet. We have books and studies on mindfulness. For me, I understand it as an ability to be fully present in the moment. And, again, the 5 senses again come into play here. And, the practice of mindfulness in nature is said to boost creativity. So if you just try this, if you are an artist or a writer, or you're looking at, starting writing, if you sit in nature and start writing something or getting all that, your creative juices flowing, you'll find a huge difference when you do these things in nature. Because, your mind is there, you're present with all your 5 senses. People suffering from physical ailments like blood pressure, anxiety, all of this, And they witness vast healing power of the source energy when they practice mindfulness. And also you can include a little bit of breath work. So we have our Anulom Vilom practices. If you do that sitting in nature, it can change the state of the body and get you out of the flight or fight and stay and get you into a stay and play what flight and fight is. When you are when the hormones which release, when you find something which is threatening, which earlier people would have experienced this when perhaps they are in a forest and a tiger jumps out at them. So instantly, you have your hormones which say, which trigger out the flight and fight. So you are ready to go. But then when you have, when you are relaxed mode and you are at ease with yourself, you are in a very stay and play mode, So that's what mindfulness does. And it balances the left and right brain hemisphere for you. And it helps to change our state of consciousness. So I hope that makes sense for you. It's simple as just feeling when you're in that place or in the garden. If you're just feeling just activate all your tactile sensations. Perhaps you're just sitting, just experience the breeze on your face, or you can experience your shirt on your skin. How does that feel? Listen to the different sounds at that very moment, the smells. Take in the aromas and even look at the different things. Even if your eyes are closed, you can actually try and look at what you can see with your eyes closed. That's very interesting. So you can do that as well. And of course, you can always take a sip of coffee and tea, or if nothing, enjoy an apple or a fruit in nature and just take it down very slowly, chew at it, and just feel, every sense of taste. So the 5 senses again come, it's a great way to practice mindfulness. And it takes a little time to get there, but then it's very simple. And I think if you just keep it very simple and just go with the flow, you will get there and enjoy this aspect of practice in nature. Grounding is another very important practice in my forest therapy sessions. And I believe it realigns your electrical energy, and like connecting it to the earth. So the earth is like a gigantic battery, and it contains natural, subtle electrical charges. It's a special kind of energy present in the ground. And when you grounded, it's a therapeutic technique that involves doing activities like tree hugging or walking barefoot or simply sitting on the ground with your feet and your leg in contact with the earth. And it just gets you so centered, you feel balanced and, less tensed. You are we as humans, we are bioelectrical beings, and the truth is when we are disconnected, there's a lot missing out of this. Because today we are wearing shoes with soles, we hardly have contact with the earth, we are wearing shoes all the time or slippers all the time. We are hardly dipping our feet in water or contacting anything. Even gardening, people have started wearing gloves when they're doing gardening. So scientific research over more than a decade indicates that our body can be protected and helped. And we can feel so much better when we are electrically reconnected to the earth. And it's so simple. It's just by going barefoot, getting in contact with the earth, laying on the grass, perhaps. And you can it's a great way to do your yoga sessions in nature or exercises. You can just sit around during your lunch break, take a walk in the park, open your shoes and just step and just get grounded. And there are a lot of scientific tools today which people have researched, and instantly, just with a span of a second, person who takes off his shoes, that instrument, it shows a green light, it shows that he's grounded. A person touching him is also getting grounded, how that electrical charge is passing through. And when we don't have any contact with the earth whatsoever or with nature in any form, then this is missing, and it just gets it's like we are not getting ourselves charged. If we consider the earth as a battery, we're not getting ourselves the proper electrical charge, and which is present in the ground. So it's a great way to cut out the negative energies in our bodies. And grounding has helped a lot of people with pain and inflammation, And so I'll take you to a slide here, which says, even see if you are in a vicinity of a tree, there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of things. This is in Taoism. They say that research has shown that you don't even have to touch a tree to get better. You just need to be within its vicinity and has beneficial effects. This is one concept of, being out in nature, a person meditating. Perhaps that is why most of our gurus and enlightened masters, they gained enlightenment in nature itself. So, and one more concept I want to show you is, this is a screenshot of a research that took place in which they showed that a lady who was suffering from major chronic pain, she did grounding, and within 4 days, she found 80% of the pain gone. So there were infrared shots taken, and she said that 80% of her pain was gone. So people who are having pain because of inflammation, chronic pain, and they're just living with it day to day, ask them if they have it. If you have someone like that in someone you should ask them to go barefoot walking, or perhaps get in contact with the earth, or dip themselves and dip their feet in water, or even swim in an ocean if you're near the beach. It's great. It just helps you with that. There is an ancient Oriental practice of a grounding exercise also. So this is great for when you're very anxious and you really need to get yourself together. This is a great practice to do when you can do it at an office before a presentation. You can do it when at any point of time, actually, when you feel a little too much is happening and you just need to, you're having a panic attack and you just want to get control of the situation. You can, do this. I've made a video of this also on my YouTube channel. So it's just sit at that moment and notice 5 things you see. So if you'd like, we can do it right now together. Just notice 5 things that you see around you right now. You can see the light, you can see your computer or your mobile, you can see a chair, see the 5 things you can see around you. Now come to 4 things that you can feel. Just feel anything. You can feel a texture of a cloth next to you. You can feel, perhaps you can feel your skin, your hair, 4 things you feel and 3 things you hear. Even if you're indoors, there are so many sounds, even in a quiet room, you can actually hear. I can hear the ticking of a clock. I can hear the buzzing sound of my laptop. And I can hear some sound from the other room. And 2 things you can smell. You can just smell anything around you. Just activate that sense of smelling. And 1 thing you can taste. If you have something, take a bite of that and smell it. If not, you can just, perhaps smell your hand, smell something around you. And 1 thing you can taste. And I've shared a poll with you. So this is very interesting. When it comes to tree hugging, many of you all would find it a little, I don't know, whether tree hugging, I know it looks kind of weird and people might think I'm gone crazy. And, like Mohit sir shared his story about his tree, Amu. Doing it as well, it's funny when you find someone hugging a tree. It's like, for the normal person, I think if you just try it once, I would urge you to try it once, maybe alone in the park someday if you feel a little conscious about it. But there's nothing to be conscious about it. It's, if you would just see it scientifically, hugging a tree, first of all, in Taoism, they talk about the energies of the tree. The previous slide I showed you, they talk about sitting in a tree, and there's a frequency of the tree, and you can align yourself with that. And many people have actually found they have, completely zoned out in that atmosphere of being under a tree that they were drawn to. And even if you don't believe in that, even if you just hug a tree, I would just urge you to go and try it, because it gives out such nice hormones. I think happy hormones are released in doing it, and it's just lovely. And you can just explore the tree. In forest therapy, I urge my participants to explore the tree and just feel the texture around it. And it's amazing how some areas of the tree is actually warm, while as somewhere it's colder, it's cooler. And even if you can try and smell the tree, it has a distinct aroma. Different trees, different aromas come out of it, and it's lovely. And later on, I'll also talk about how the trees give out this phytoncides. A chemical is released. We'll come to that in the next slide. Before that, I want to talk to you about this practice of, it's an Oriental practice. It's done in China, and it's pronounced as Zhangjong. It's a dynamic form of meditation. So it's just about, standing as if you're hugging a tree. This posture, in a very relaxed mode, it cultivates a boundless energy with an ancient standing meditation. And it's excellent for improving your productivity and bringing more aliveness to everything you do. So perhaps you're at your office and you're kind of getting brain blocked. Why don't you just stand up and just stand as a tree? And, like any other meditation practice, many martial artists do it. People who are suffering from pain, they have even relaxed, it relaxes and aligns their body. And for people who are working, it just gets you focused and more creative. When you have too much happening, standing like a tree. So if you see the image here, one person is standing like a tree, and he has too many thoughts happening in his brain right now. The thoughts are scattered. And as you stand like a tree, like as if you're hugging a tree, with your hands relaxed, a little bent, nothing too stiff, your knees slightly bent, your legs, your shoulder width apart, and just standing for some time, your focused mind, you start to find more focus, and you feel more serene and more calm. And what it happens is, say, at least 10 minutes, under 10 minutes, if you could just stand even at home early in the morning, stand there. There's one thing you can do is increase your energy and mental clarity by doing this. And endurance, and the method is, it's a dynamic form of standing meditation from ancient China. And it just great even for people, who having neck pain because of, perhaps the posture that we sit in our offices, back pain, it's great for them to take a break, stand up, stand in that position. So the chi meridians, chi is the prana, it moves around your body, and it relaxes it. And somehow you get a lot of mental alertness and clarity. This position is great, and I would recommend you try it, sometime when you're just a little frustrated or having a little panic attack. Just stand up, take a moment, and just focusing on your breath, stand like you're hugging a tree. And if you feel that's too much, just stand straight with your eyes closed, but in a very relaxed posture, just relaxing your jaw, just relax and try it. And it's really therapeutic, and it just changes a lot. So nature therapy is important to reduce stress and anxiety in your life and develop more inner peace. I'm sure you know about it, and you can think more on this. Next, I'm coming to nature deficit disorder. I think it says here, scientific evidence suggests that nature deficit disorder contributes to diminishing use of our senses, the attention difficulties, conditions of obesity happens, and emotional physical diseases also, and also ADHD. So it's not normal for us humans to be bombarded by the information we are getting today on our mobiles. The tragedies happening, the coronavirus happening. So we're getting so much of information in that small span of time, and we're just scrolling our phones. And this technological advancement is one which our brains and bodies are not able to process. It's great. the technology is great because I love it. I love my social media. I like to see what my friends and family are doing and, reading about articles, of course. But then, there has to be a control about how much media we are actually, how much information is being bombarded at us and how much we are actually taking it unnecessarily. It is not normal for a normal human to take in so much of information that today we are exposed to. And somewhere down the line, it in our subconscious mind, it affects us. The information is, we all know, how good, being in nature can make us feel, and sounds, the sense, the smell. It improves our focus and concentration. But today people are under techno stress. You see, many people are so addicted to their mobiles that you will find them even in a family gathering. We are looking at our phones all the time. So here's a poll for which I would like to ask you, what do you do? I just want to get a better understanding of how much time we are spending indoors and outdoors. It's great. I see many of you all unplug yourself, and then that's wonderful. That's wonderful that many have been unplugging themselves on the weekend. That's lovely. But then we have to be honest, because everywhere I see, where in the family as well, even with the children having a lot of online classes the past year, and then not being able to go out, then the entertainment is television, movies, mobile phones, it's all relating to a lot of stress. And what do you do on the weekends? Many of you all also go to the malls. On a regular day, you go to the mall or to the movies. So it's, again, artificial lights, artificial surroundings. There's no nature in it. So on an average, most of our time is spent in a surrounding which is artificial and not natural. This technological advancement is one which our brains and bodies are not able to process properly. And somewhere it kind of leads to a certain kind of stress. This increased screen time is called techno stress. You're addicted to gadgets. Everyone wants to keep seeing their phones, what's on WhatsApp, what's coming on the mobile. And you're sleeping with your phones. The good news is even a small time in nature can help this, counter this, or balance this immensely. Unplug from technology and connect to the moment with the 5 senses. Slow down, take a digital detox, maybe on the weekend. Maybe give yourself 1 hour or even 20 minutes of every day where you have no phone, no technology, it's just you and you're connecting deeply with nature. So people, I don't know if you all know this concept of phytoncides. So, many trees, they emit an antimicrobial essential oil in the air. And when we are amongst trees or in nature, we inhale this, and it has been proven that breathing in phytoncides while walking in nature has beneficial effects to the human. And it's great. These cells support the immune system and are linked to a low risk of cancer, as well as fighting infections and inflammations. So every time we breathe in phytoncides, these aerosols which are in the forest environment, they increase the white blood cells, which are also called as natural killer cells or NK cells, that help fight virus-infected cells. A tangible immune system boost that can last for up to 30 days. So once you're in the forest for a good 2 hours, let's say, they say that's good enough to, keep your white blood cells happy and activated for the next 30 days. So you can imagine if you just give yourself 1 day on the weekend, perhaps you can just take a walk in nature, fully immersing yourself in nature. apart from your regular morning walk, wherein you're breathing, you're feeling with all your senses, it can really boost it has a lot of health benefits for you. There is a concept of sit spot in forest therapy. It's an anchor in your life. The sit spot is a spot in nature to connect, observe, and study life, cultivate present moment awareness, a quiet time to observe the flow of reality occurring around you. Find a sit spot that is close to you, not more than a few minutes from your door. Your own garden is perfect. I have a sit spot here on my terrace, and beside it, there's a neem tree. So, early mornings and evenings are the best to, take time out and sit there. You can perhaps write down a journal, make time, and you can just take this time to unplug. It could be your balcony. If you're living in an apartment, it could be a balcony where you could stay and you could just relax in that area without any technology and just, completely connect to that moment with all your 5 senses. And, this is a great habit to cultivate. It's called a sit spot. Recommended to all who are interested in forest therapy. So guys, 2 hours per week. It says scientific research and results of forest bathing show that forest therapy, if you just do it for 2 hours a week, I recommend 2 hours a week or 20 minutes a day. It reduces depression and anxiety. You sleep better and longer, and it reduces fatigue and gives you more energy. Your blood pressure becomes stable. You have clearer intuition, your intuitive powers, and deeper overall increase of happiness. It boosts your immune system and reduces cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So I'm at the end of this. If there's anything that you'll like to ask, we can answer those queries. And I would also be sharing with you a link where you can take with you an ebook and practice forest therapy. It's a beginner's guide. So if you're already doing it, the different steps that you could take and to take this forward.
This was brilliant, Dipika. Absolutely brilliant. Please go ahead and share your file. I'll share it for you.
Right, sir.
Okay. I'll share it for you. You can continue to answer people's questions, or
Yes.
if you want to talk, then you can press that icon, which is a hand to speak, and I'll let you in so you can speak as well. No problem with that. And if you've got another poll for them to take up, go ahead.
FRE Free says green is good, relaxed color for the eyes. Yes, it is. Green is lovely color for, it really relaxes and soothes the eye. Oh, okay. So some of the words words are blocked on my slide. Okay. Aman did not get the poll. Okay, Aman. So my polls were basically about asking you questions about, do you think tree hugging is really beneficial? Or have you heard of Shinrin-yoku or forest bathing before? And have you experienced it before? Also, there was a poll about where I wanted to know what activities do you do on a holiday or on a weekend, like, on a Saturday or a Sunday when you have the day off? Because how many of us actually spend time in nature? It's mostly we spend indoors, at home, sleeping, or sometimes we get out to the mall. So it's all, again, artificial surroundings as opposed to a natural place, a natural space where you can just spend, relax, get grounded. So that was one thing, Aman. Also, Pragati did not get the poll, I think. Well, Deepak, you said, I don't need to be in a forest to experience Shinrin Yoku. So, to be in an actual forest environment, Deepak, it's lovely because, there's nothing like a real forest. I mean, a real forest is a real forest. It's a completely different atmosphere and ambience. But if we are in an urban city, why not make use of the beautiful parks around us? And we also have lovely city forests, bird sanctuaries around us. And it's nothing less than a forest, actually. Gardens in Delhi, and I'm sure most of the cities around India have amazing spaces. And you can find out the nearest wetlands or forest around you in the city and take a trip there on the weekend. And someone says, okay. Yes, yes, I think I've covered all. So someone asked me that I have screenshots of the presentations. Would you permit to share with my Nature Society? Absolutely. Please do. I want as many people to know about forest therapy and practice it. So it's free for all. Please share it as much as you can. Oh, Pragati has tried tree hugging. Whenever she hugs I hug a tree after a walk with eyes closed, I can see something like cosmos or universe. Exactly. Isn't it amazing, Pragati? It's just lovely. And that's why I urge you, people who are attending, please go hug a tree. I keep saying it. Please hug a tree. It is a completely different feeling. So Pragati, I'm going to get back to you about this experience. I'll in detail. I'll get your email and I'll send you more, and we'll get in touch. So everybody, I hope you all liked it. I hope you liked this webinar. It was my first time trying out Webinar Jam, which Mohit sir introduced me to, and it's lovely to see many of you all have been practicing forest bathing in your own way. I'm sure most of us are doing it in our own way. Everybody loves nature. After all, again, coming back to biophilia, we are natural beings. It's in our DNA. So connect deeper. Thank you.
So I want to
Yes,
ask you, Dipika, to tell everyone how you trained yourself into forest therapy, and how you went to Ireland, and there's an institute that teaches this part. So people would know how to do it, if they want to learn how to go about it.
So I think I had, is there a link we can share? I think I shared a link of my institute. If not, I have most of them. I will, if anyone is interested, I will share with you the link. It's a forest therapy institute in Europe. And anyone can do it. During the COVID, they were doing it online training for guides. So it's lovely. They have some more training coming up. And I'll share the link with you all. There's one schedule for February, I think. For those of you all who are interested in taking this as a practice, you want to be trained to be a guide, please do. I will share with you. Let me know. I will share with you the institute's contact email. It's all over there. They have all the details. So I trained personally there. So it's a 3-month training in which you have to go through the various practices yourself, practically, and then again more of theory, and then you need to. So it's a lovely experience, and anyone is interested, I will definitely share with you. You can get in touch with me. You can note down my number. It's 971-701-7823, or my website. It's www.foresttherapyindia.com. So anything, you can get in touch with me through there. And I also have an offer for you. So most of you who would like to be interested in taking a walk with me, a forest therapy walk in Delhi, because I'll be in Delhi, but this is scheduled for February. Then you can, grab this offer. Thank you, Shilpa. I'm so glad you found it very insightful. I tried to keep it as short as possible, because the real thing is to make this experience on your own. Aman says, how is it different to experience forest bathing with a guide or just by yourself? Well, Aman, when you go by yourself to the forest, you do your awaken your senses. You can walk, you can enjoy nature, you can practice grounding. When you're in a group with a guide to guide you, it is more about getting when you're on your own, you tend to be carried away. But when you are with a guide, we try to gather you in between. We give out invitations. Different invitations are given out so that you can take that and make that practice. And then we gather in a sharing circle and we share. So the experience is more, instead of you just taking one invitation and doing one thing when you're by yourself. When you are with a guide, we can make it more your connection more deeper by giving you very sorted out invitations. So invitations are like small activities which I ask you to do in that natural environment which I'm trained to. So when you do those activities, that connection, the whole idea is to make that connection much more deeper. So we do that. It's another way of socializing. So it's like meeting people of your own tribe, people who are nature lovers. We all gather together, and at the end of every invitation, we have a sharing circle. So it's great to share that. People, after a forest bathing session, they get connected. They start, they have just revisited childhood, perhaps. They like to share that. Some might not want to share that. So we say silence is also a way of sharing. So it's fine if you don't want to share. So it's lovely to gather like that and share what we've taken back and how nature has healed us or been a therapist for us that day. And at the end of the walk, we also have a lovely tea ceremony in which we sit together and we, enjoy a lovely brew made of leaves, which we forge in the forest. If I'm in the urban city, then I carry a lovely green tea, with different mango and passion fruit, made. And we all enjoy that and we share our experiences. Thank you, Pragati. Thank you. I'm so glad you found it great. Thank you. Any other questions you'd like to ask? Thank you, Salil. I'm so glad you found the presentation excellent.
So we have a person here by the name FRE, and we can't figure out. He's a great nemophilist, but I can't figure out the name. Could you type your name in, please, so we know who you are? Okay. Well, so it was
Yes,
a wonderful session, Dipika. And I'm happy to happy to tell you that you've done wonderfully well, and everybody's been so engaged. So your next step is to take everyone who lives in Delhi to Lodi Garden and make them experience what I experienced,
Yes, yes.
And this is their journey. This is how we need to be able to relate. This is our job as humans to bring more nurturing into others' lives what we know, with what we know. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yes. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, good.
Thank you, everybody. I
Thank
hope
you, and
everyone
bye.
has a lovely evening.